Hello friends, welcome back again. So today we'll be taking up the classes on the listening skills, right? So before we get into the practice listening skills, I'll be telling you about few of the tips for the listening skills and also some instructions, and then we will see some examples. Okay? Is that clear, my dear friends? Great. Very nice. Okay, before that, please confirm me. Is my screen visible to you and my audio clearly audible? Am I audible to everyone clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is my screen visible? Okay, great. Nice. Now, let us see what are the some of the tips that we get for the listening skills, right? The listening skill tips and instructions would be like this. The IELTS listening test will take about 30 minutes, and you will have an extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet, right? Okay, that means overall it would be 40 minutes. The four parts of this practice listening test are presented over four separate web pages, right? That means ki each listening part of the test, you will be having four parts in the listening test. So each part would be given in a different separate web pages. So make sure you move swiftly from one page to the next so that your practice is as realistic as possible. That means you have to be very quick in shifting from one web page to the next web page. That means from test 1 to test 2, from test 2 to test 3, so on and so forth. I hope it's very clear to all of you. Okay. Then download the question paper and the blank answer sheet. Listen to me very carefully. Download the question paper and the blank answer sheet before you start. Okay? And write your answers on the question paper while you are listening and use a pencil. This I am again and again in each and every skill sets I am repeating. Write your answers on the question paper with a pencil so that you can erase it off and then you can transfer the answers onto the answer sheet swiftly or quickly. Then listen to the instructions for each section of the test carefully. Right? That means the moment you play the audio of the listening skills, there will be certain instructions given to you by the orator. Okay? So listen to those instructions very carefully. Otherwise, there are chances of you missing out the instructions and you may not follow the right answer. Okay? Then answer all the questions. You should not leave any questions blank. Whether you know the answer or not, you must answer all the questions here. Unlike our civil exams, if we don't know the answer, we just leave the question and come out, give the answer sheets and come out. It will not be like that. Here, each and every questions must be attempted. Make it a clear point in your mind and underline these instructions so that you will not forget them. There are 40 questions altogether, right? Comprising about four sections, you'll be having 40 questions. That means each part would have 10 questions each, right? Then each question carries 1 mark. That means overall there will be 40 marks. Again, I am telling you, don't get confused between the marks and the bands. This I already explained you. Okay? So for this 40 marks, if you have to score band 8, right? You have to score minimum 32 marks for this. If you have to score band 8. That's what it is. Right? I hope everything is clear now. Then, for each part of the test, there will be a time for you to look through the questions and time for you to check your answer. Right? For each and every question of a test, each part of the test, what I mean to say that you'll be given certain time. You will have to go through the questions and also answer the same within the short period. That I will let you know how you will be doing it when you listen to the practice test. When I make you to listen to the practice test. Say, first they will give you the question papers, read the questions peacefully and understand them very clearly. Then the audio is played. Listen to the audio carefully. Listen to the audio carefully so that the question paper you can jot down with a pencil the answers that are you can listen through the audio clip. And then once the audio is off, again the audio will not be played. So you have to be very careful in listening. You will not be given a second chance to listen the same audio. Right? So if you require a modified version of the test, for example, in Braille, that means if you are a blind person and if you want to modify the version of the test, you can request to the test center 3 months in advance. If you are a blind person and if you are taking the exams in the Braille language, then you will have to put on a request to the examination center or the test center at minimum of 3 months in advance to discuss your requirements. I hope this is clear to everyone. Then follow these few instructions very clearly, understand them and follow them. In the actual test, you'll be given the following instructions. Okay, when you listen to the test, you'll be given these instructions. Do not open the question paper until you are told to do so. Right? So you will be given a question paper until and unless the examiner asks you to open the question paper, don't open it. It will be given in a sealed cover. The question papers would be given in a sealed cover and the invigilator will give you instruction to open the question paper and only then you are supposed to open the question paper. Then write your name and candidate number in the spaces at the top of this page. Okay, in each and every question paper, there will be a space for you in which you will have to mention your name and your membership number. That is the candidate number. Or else you can say, in other words, make you to understand very clearly. When we write the board exams or the university exams, we write the hall ticket numbers. Right? In the same way, here you will be getting a candidate number on when you register. So you have to mention that candidate number in the right space provided to you. Don't interchange it from candidate name to candidate's number. Okay? Where there is a candidate name is mentioned, write only the candidate's name. And where the candidate's number is mentioned, mention only the candidate's number. Right? Then listen to the instructions for each part of the paper carefully. Right? I told you there are 4 parts. For each part, there will be separate instructions given. So before you answer that particular part, listen to the instructions given in that part and answer accordingly. Right? Then answer all the questions. Okay? No worries if you don't know the answer, but don't leave the questions blank. You have to fill in something. Even if it is wrong, no problem. As I told you, there will be no negative marking. You need not worry about it. But if you leave it blank, then your marks will be reduced. Be very careful about this. Don't leave the questions blank. While you are listening, write your answers on the question paper. Right? When you are listening, you have got the question paper in front of you. You'll be played the audio, listen to the audio carefully, and write the answers in the question paper. Right? Then you'll have 10 minutes at the end of the test to copy your answers onto the separate answer sheet. Okay? So once the audio is over, you will be given 10 minutes to answer all the questions. That means question number 1 to 10. So for that, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer the answers that you have jotted down in the question paper onto the answer sheet. Okay? So you have to transfer all the answers that you have noted down or you have jotted down on the question paper onto the answer sheet and then submit it. Always use a pencil. Don't use a pen. Always use a pencil. So that's the reason I told you always carry a sharpener, an eraser, and a new pencil to the examination center. Carry couple of pencils so that your writing is very clear and it is legible. Okay? Then at the end of the test, you will be asked to hand in the question paper. That means once the exam test is over, means after 10 minutes, they will ask you to hand over the answer sheets and the question paper to the invigilator. So you have to give back both the things together. I hope this is very clear to all of you. Nice. Then let us get into the online listening exercises. Okay? Any doubts so far for any one of you?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts for any one of you so far in the instructions and the tips for the listening skills?
No, sir.
No, fine. Shall we go ahead for the listening
Yes, sir.
skills practice
Definitely.
test? Okay, we'll go get in for the exercise. Great. I'll be playing a certain audio clip.
Okay.
Listen to it carefully and answer the questions. Note down the answers for the questions, and finally, you can see the answers. Right? Great.
Okay.
Okay, friends. Can you all see the screen clearly?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, great. So here you see there are 4 sections. The instructions are very clearly given. Section 1 is a conversation by a woman who is applying for her driving license. Okay. So these are the instructions you have to very clearly read and understand. Okay. So the section 1 is a conversation by a woman who is applying for her driving license. Okay. Then section 2 is a training information talking to new staff at an airport. Okay. Then the section 3 is a reporting by 2 science students on their project about Tasmanian devils. Okay, here 2 students would be conversing between themselves about the Tasmanian devils. And in section 2, there will be a conversation between the staff of an airport and the training information given to the staff by the trainer. And in the first part, it is a conversation between the licensing authority and the woman who has applied for the driving license. In the same way, in the section 4 is a lecture about the results of a survey conducted on yoga in Australia. So all the 4 tests will be of different categories. So you have to be very careful, right? In the same way, the section 4, it is about a lecture. A lecture is being given there about a yoga survey conducted in Australia. So all the 4 audio tips would be given to you within that span of 40 minutes. Okay? Now, let us listen to the first audio test tips. Okay? So it tells key listening practice test section 1, question number 1 to 5, and then it will be from 6 to 10. So in first listening test part, you'll be having 2 parts again. That is, the first part is from questions 1 to 5, and in the second one, it will be from 6 to 10. In the second test, listening practice, question 2.1, that is first part of the second test would be question numbers from 11 to 15, and the second part of the second test would be 16 to 20, and in the third test, first part would be 21 to 26, and the second part of the third test would be from 27 to 30, and fourth part would be, in the fourth test, the first part would be from 31 to 37, and the second part would be from 38 to 40. So you will be listening to all these audio clips and then answer the questions. Okay? Now, this is the answer sheet for question number 1 to 5. You can make a note of it, each one of you. Or you can take a pic and mention the question numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as I play the audio, you can just jot down the answers. In the same way, for question number 6, you note down the questions, choose the correct letter they're asking, that is A, B, or C. You see, here you have to listen and note down the answers. Okay, the words. So, for example, here the name, you should write the name. They have given example, Teresa Collins, but to which class of license she, that you have to listen and write. Her date of birth is given. Then the second is key the address. They will be giving the address number so and so street, and Bentley. Then the question number 3 says the phone number. So listen to it carefully and note down the phone number. Question number 4 says about the identification. So they will be reading out the identification. You have to note down the identification marks read out in the audio clip, and then the payment method. Okay, payment method for the driving license. How you are going to pay, whether it is through online or offline, through check, by cash, or by card, whatsoever may be the payment method. So that you have to listen to it carefully and you have to write the answer. So before you write the answer, there is one more important instruction that is given at the top of the question paper. Never ever forget to read that. Never ever forget to read that. The instruction says write no more than 2 words and oblique or a number for every answer. You cannot write more than 2 words. If you, for example, the name is Teresa Collins, there if it is Pooja PK, you have to write Pooja PK. So there PK will not be separate, you have to make it join. Or it can be numbers also, right? And or a number. So here for the address column, there can be numbers. So 10 Manchester Street. So 10 is one word. Writing, say, for example, they say the address number 10. Don't write number. You just write 10 and street name. Phone number, it would be 8 digit or 10 digit. It counts as one word. Right? Then identification, a black mole, gray hair, black hair, blonde hair. This type of things. You have to write only 2 words. I hope I am making it very clear to each and every one of you. And the payment method, credit card, debit card, by cash, by check. So this step when you write it, it becomes 2 words. So make sure you don't write more than 2 words. If you write more than 2 words, you will be losing the marks. That answer will not be valid. It becomes a void answer or it becomes a wrong answer. So be very careful when you read the question paper. Never ever forget to read the very first line in the question paper. In any skills, whether it is reading, writing, speaking, or listening, never ever forget to read the very first line of the question paper, which gives you the clear instruction how you have to write the answer. Right? Okay. Now, once you have noted down these questions, then go to question number 6 to 10. Because you will be played the audio only once. You will not be played the audio for the second time. So then in the instruction for question number 6 to 10, they're saying that choose the correct letter A, B, or C. So you have to choose only those letters A, B, or C that you are all familiar with, where you write the answers in the day-to-day exams pattern, that is the MCQ, that is multiple choice questions. So this is the 6th question. In the road rules exam, you are allowed to make no more than, right? So in that thing, A, 1 mistake, two mistakes, C, 4 mistakes. So in the audio clip, you have to listen to it carefully, how many mistakes are allowed or how many mistakes are permitted. That's why I tell you ki the synonyms are very important. Here in the question paper, they might be asked allowed, but in the audio clip, you might be hearing it as permitted, or you might be getting the word as granted. So be careful about these things while you listen. Then question number 7. Someone who has a learner's license can only drive with a person. Right? That means one who has a LL, that is the learner's license, can drive with a person having the provisional license or having the full license, who is an authorized driving teacher. So this category, you have to be very careful again in listening. If you are having a learner's license, whom should you have next to you in the car or in the vehicle which you are driving? Whether it is a person who is having the provisional license, or a person who is having the full license, or an instructor from the driving school, that is the authorized driving teacher. Then question number 8. The validity of provisional license is means till what time it will be valid. Like for us, a learner's license is valid for 1 year. Then the DL, that is the driving license, is valid for 5 years, 10 years, something like that. After every that stipulated period, we have to get it renewed. That all of us know. In the same way, they will be giving for the provisional license. Right? Once the learner's license is done, for how many days that provisional license is valid for before you get to the permanent or the full driving license, right? Whether it is 9 months, 18 months, or 6 months, don't write the answer. Again, I am telling you, you have to write A, B, or C, not the answers. Okay? Then question number 9. The maximum speed limit for a person with the with the learner's license is, right? The maximum speed limit, a person one who is having the learner's license, at what speed he can or she can drive the vehicle. It can be 40 miles per hour or 80 miles per hour or 100 miles per hour. Okay? Again, don't get confused. In the western part of the world, they write the speed with miles per hour. In the southern part of the world, like where in the Asian countries, we write it in the kilometers per hour. Okay? So you have to be very careful even about that. So, but here there is no controversy at all because you will be writing only the alphabets. That is the whether it is A or B or C. Okay? So that is 60 kilometers per hour, 100 kilometers per hour, or 80 kilometers per hour. Then the question number 10. During driving, a person is so not allowed to use a cell phone, only allowed to use a cell phone if he is not holding it, allowed to send a message. What could be the answer? You have to mention only A, B, or C. So now, so this is all about the part 1. Right, my dear friends? Okay. Now, let us listen to this audio clip and let us see how many of you can make the correct answer. Is that clear to everyone? Great. Now, listen to the audio carefully.
Now turn to section 1.
Is the audio clear to each one of you? Can you hear the audio? Great. Just listen to the audio and I hope all of you would have noted down the questions and keep answering the questions. And later on, we will check the answers at the end of it. Okay, guys, here goes the audio clip for you.
Section 1. You will hear a woman who is applying for a driving license. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. Can I help you?
I'd like to apply for a driving license.
Right. We'll just have to fill in this form.
Uh-huh.
First, could you tell me your full name?
Yes, it's Teresa Collins.
Right.
The woman says her name is Teresa Collins, so Teresa Collins has been written next to the example on the question paper. Now continue with questions 1 to 5.
And what type of vehicle would you like to drive?
Oh, just a normal car.
That's a Class C licence then. Have you ever held a driving licence in another country?
Oh no, I'm too young. Anyway, I think I'd be too scared to drive in another country.
Right. I'll just need to get some personal details from you. Could I have your date of birth, please?
Yes, it's the 17th of March 1994,
And what's your address?
28 River Street.
That's spelt River. Is that right?
Yes,
And that's in Bentley, isn't it?
yes.
Okay. And your phone number?
I'll give you my home number. It's 37018699.
Right. And what form of ID do you have with you?
Well, I've got a bank card. Here it is.
Let's see. No, we need something with your photo on it, like a student card.
I've got that with me. Here you are.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, there's an application fee of $55.
Sorry, guys, I'll just replay it again. I think there must be something wrong. So the audio got stuck, right? Just allow me a minute. Hope it's audible to you now. Just listen it.
Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a woman who is applying for a driving license. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. Can I help you?
I'd like to apply for a driving licence.
Right. We'll just have to fill in this form.
Uh-huh.
First, could you tell me your full name?
Yes, it's Teresa Collins.
Right.
The woman says her name is Teresa Collins, so Teresa Collins has been written next to the example on the question paper. Now continue with questions 1 to 5.
And what type of vehicle would you like to drive?
Oh, just a normal car.
That's a Class C licence then. Have you ever held a driving licence in another country?
Oh no, I'm too young. Anyway, I think I'd be too scared to drive in another country.
Right. I'll just need to get some personal details from you. Could I have your date of birth, please?
Yes, it's the 17th of March 1994,
And what's your address?
28 River Street.
That's spelt River. Is that right?
Yes,
And that's in Bentley, isn't it?
yes.
Okay. And your phone number?
I'll give you my home number. It's 37018699.
Right. And what form of ID do you have with you?
Well, I've got a bank card. Here it is.
Let's see. No, we need something with your photo on it, like a student card.
I've got that with me. Here you are.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, there's an application fee of $55. How would you like to pay? We take credit cards, but not cheques, I'm afraid. And we take cash, of course, if you have enough money with you.
I do, actually. And I try not to use my credit card if I can avoid it. Here you are.
Thank you.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Right. Now, there are a few things I need to tell you about the licence. Before you actually drive a car, you have to pass a test about the road rules.
Oh, that's the test about speed limits and road signs and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just a second, friends. There is some technical glitches, some buffering is happening. Right? Please be patient.
So I cannot hear anything.
Yeah, so it's buffering is happening. Just let me reload the same thing. Just 1 second.
Okay.
This is what the problem when we play it in the Google Play. Okay, let me calm down to right. Okay, right. Now it's audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it was not audible. I believe, as I have told you, that we can upload it on YouTube and do that. तो वो कर सकते हैं. So your mic is off.
Okay, I'll just no. I was just because there is some issue. I was just checking it out. Now, let me play it. Okay.
Sure. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
And we take cash, of course,
Now it's audible.
if you have enough money with you.
Audible,
I
sir.
do
Audible.
actually.
Yeah.
And I try not to use my credit card if I can avoid it. Here you are.
Thank you.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Right. Now, there are a few things I need to tell you about the license. Before you actually drive a car, you have to pass a test about the road rules.
Oh, that's the test about speed limits and road signs and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the audio is getting stuck here time and again.
There might be some network issues, sir.
No, network is full. The same
Okay,
spot
wait
it
a
is.
moment. The audio might be the audio उतना ही होगा शायद सर.
No, no, no. It is just 3 minute 55 seconds COI. Because it has to go for more than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me try the other one. Right?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll try this one now. Okay, I'll stop sharing this. And okay, here the questions will not be visible to you on the YouTube. That's why I said,
We can put question in the description, or
okay,
we can do one thing. We can put the question in the PPT and
yeah,
take the video from YouTube to PPT.
yeah. No, I was trying to download the audios. Last time I had downloaded many audios, but now after I change my laptop, those audios are not available in this laptop. Anyway, let us see how it goes, and tomorrow we can do it again. Right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, I'll
Sure.
play the thing.
Sure.
Okay. Let me share. Just let me know whether it is audible or not.
Yes, yes. Audible.
Okay, fine.
1. Part 1.
You will hear a woman being interviewed by a market researcher in a health club about her membership of the club. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Oh, excuse me. I wonder if you'd have the time to take part in some market research.
What's it about?
About this club and your experiences and opinions about being a member. It'll take less than 5 minutes.
Oh, okay then, as long as it's quick.
Can I start by taking your name?
It's Selina Thompson.
Is that Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. And what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm an accountant, but I'm between jobs at the moment.
I understand. But that's the job I'll put down on the form. And would you mind my asking which age group you fall into? Below 30, 31 to 50, and above?
Over 50, I think we can safely say.
Great, thanks. And which type of membership do you have?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean how long?
No, is it a single person membership?
Oh, right, no, it's a family membership.
Thanks. And how long have you been a member?
Ooh, let me see. I was certainly here 5 years ago, and it was probably 2 to 3 years more than that.
Shall I put down 8?
Oh, I remember now. It's 9, definitely. Sorry.
No problem. I've got that. And the last question in this first part is, what brought you to the club?
Sorry?
How did you find out about the club? Did you see any ads?
Well, I did actually. But I have to say I wasn't really attracted to the club because of that. It was through word of mouth.
So you were recommended by a friend?
Actually, my doctor. I'd been suffering from high blood pressure, and he said the club was very supportive of people with that condition, so I signed up.
Great, thanks.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, for the second part of the form, I want to ask a bit more about your experience of the club.
Sure.
How often would you say you use the club?
It varies enormously, depending on how busy I am.
Of course. But on average, per month?
I'd say it averages out at twice a week.
Okay, so 8 on average.
Yeah, and 4 of those are aqua aerobics classes.
That leads me to the next question. Would you say the swimming pool is the facility you make most use of?
Fair to say that, yep.
Right, thanks. And are there any facilities you don't use?
One area I realise I've never used is the tennis courts. And there's one simple reason for that.
You don't play tennis?
Actually, I'm not bad at it.
Oh.
It's that I'm not happy having to pay extra for that privilege.
Oh, right. I've made a note of that. Thanks. Now, in the last section, are there any suggestions or recommendations you have for improvements to the club?
Only about health and fitness?
Anything at all?
Well, I'd like to see more social events. It isn't just a question of getting together for games or classes, but other things, you know.
Yes, sure.
And another thing that I was thinking, when I had my yoga class in the gym last night, we were all sweltering in the heat, was that I think they should put in, or, you know...
air conditioning.
That's exactly what I mean. The rooms are really light and well designed, but they do need proper installations.
Sure. Well, I've made a note of that.
Good.
So, is there anything else you'd like to suggest? About quality of service, for example?
Oh, everyone's very nice here. They couldn't be more friendly and helpful. Oh, but I tell you what, It's a shame the restaurant isn't open in the evening on Saturday, and Sunday as well for that matter.
Oh. So the club should...
You open it later on those days.
OK, well, thank you very much. That's all the questions I have.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. With Grammarly on your computer and phone, you always have an expert writing assistant. Land the job with a cover letter.
Now turns to part 2.
Part 2.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, welcome to the university. Let me introduce myself. My name's Helen Brown. I'm the International Office Administrator, and I'm responsible for looking after students here on scholarships, in particular Chevening scholars. Perhaps you could introduce yourselves to me.
Hi, I'm Ansgar from Grasse in southern Austria.
And my name is Magali. I'm from a town near Montpellier, France.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
So let's get started. I'm going to tell you about the schedule for today. Today is your orientation day at the university, and it's going to begin in half an hour at 10 o'clock with a speech from the Vice-Chancellor welcoming you to the university.
That's very nice. Where is it?
It's in the main hall on floor 3.
Okay, but how do we get there?
From here, the international office, go down the corridor, past the lecture theatre and student common room. Then you'll be at the main entrance and you'll see the lift to your left. Take the lift to floor 3 and the main hall entrance is after the buffet.
Okay, floor 3 after the buffet. I can always find my way to food. So we'll be able to find the main hall, no problem.
So after the Vice-Chancellor greets the new students, then 30 minutes later, the Mayor will welcome you to the city. Together it should be about an hour, so it's not too much of a drag.
And what happens then?
After that, you'll have a meeting with a representative of the British Council, and she will brief you on life in Britain and what your sponsor expects, and of course doesn't expect from you.
It will be nice to meet them. Is that in the main hall too?
No, but it is on floor 3 again. With your back to the main hall, go down the corridor past the labs.
Sorry?
The laboratories, on your right, and the computer cluster rooms on your left, and at the end of the corridor are seminar rooms 1 and 2. Your meeting is in seminar room 2.
Did you mention what time that is?
No, I didn't. It's at 11:15 and it should last about half an hour. You'll meet her a number of times during your studies, so it's important to go to that meeting.
Okay, I'll make sure Magali is on time.
Ansgar, I'm always on time.
Very well. Now for the final part of the morning and lunch, you'll be with your department.
We're both doing biomedicine.
Oh, that's interesting.
But we're not sure how to get to our department.
Well, you don't need to go very far from seminar room 2. The laboratories and seminar rooms all belong to your department. So basically, you need to turn left out of seminar room 2 and go past the next 2 teaching rooms. Your departmental office is on the left.
Will someone be there to meet us?
Oh, but of course. At 12 o'clock, the course administrator will meet you at the departmental office and introduce you to members of staff, and the head of department, Professor He knew.
He knew. How do you spell that?
Heanue. He will tell you about the department and your course, the coursework and academic life in Britain. Have you both got reading lists?
Yes, I have.
I'm afraid I haven't.
You can get one at that meeting. Then finally, as it's your first day, you'll have lunch with the department staff in the refectory from 1 to 2.
Oh, that's really nice.
Great.
There's just one more thing. In the afternoon, you have the chance to meet other international students in the main hall again, and you can ask them about their time at the university. That's from 2:30 onwards.
I'm looking forward to that.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
So you're thinking of opening a bank account with us?
That's right.
And you're an international student at the university?
Yes, I am.
And how did you hear about us?
From Student Services. They gave me a list of banks near the university, and I chose this one because you have a branch near campus and a student advisor at the bank.
Yes, I'm part of the student advice team. There are 3 of us here. Right, now I'll go over the services we offer to international students, and then we can go through a few details before we set up your account.
Okay.
We can offer you a current or cheque account and a savings account.
Do you pay interest on the current account?
We do, but not very much, about 1.5%. You get a much better interest rate on the savings account, around 4%. We also give you a free overdraft facility.
I'm sorry?
If you run out of money, we allow you to spend more money than you have in your account. That's the overdraft. But you can only take out up to £100. If you need more than £100, then you must tell us before you take any more money out.
I see.
Now, once your current account is open, then you can set up direct debits for any regular payments you need to make.
Could you tell me how that works?
Well, for instance, let's take your mobile phone. You have to pay a certain amount every month for it.
Yes.
So you can tell us to pay that amount each month and we'll do it automatically for you.
I see.
As soon as your account is open, we will send you a debit card, which you must sign immediately and keep in a safe place. Then a day or 2 later, we'll send you a personal identification number.
A PIN number?
Yes, and you must keep the number secret. You can change it if you like when you use it for the first time, but if you change it, you must remember the number. If you forget or lose the number, then we have to send you out a new card and a number for security reasons.
Okay.
The next thing you could do is open a savings account. If you know you have to save a certain amount of money to pay your accommodation or course fees, we can open a savings account for you to put aside some money each week or month.
How can I do that?
You can manage your accounts in one of 4 ways. You can come into the bank here on the university campus and tell us what you would like to do, or you can call us on 08457 004 004 and instruct us what to do over the phone. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alternatively, you can manage your account over the internet.
I see.
You have to go online and register at our website at www.hsbc.co.uk/online-banking before you can use the service. Finally, if you have a digital TV, you can use TV banking by pressing interactive on your digital TV remote control.
Oh, really? I don't have a digital TV, unfortunately, but I can do the first 3 things.
Now, do you have any insurance?
What's that?
For example, if you lose something or one of your possessions is stolen, we will cover the cost of it.
How much does that cost?
It's £24 a year, so it really is worth thinking about.
I don't need to think about that. I'll take out insurance.
I'll arrange that for you as soon as your account is open. Now, would you like to go ahead and open an account with us?
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
Part 3.
You will hear two students talking about a class assignment about wild bird rescue and rehabilitation. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. As you listen to the first part of the conversation, answer questions 21 to 25.
Okay, let's go over the requirements and see what we have left to do.
Let's see. We have to give the professor a written summary of the information we've gathered on our topic, wild bird rescue and rehabilitation.
The other written thing we have to turn in is a case study of the rehabilitation of one bird. We have the information on that already.
Right. All we have to do is write it up. What about charts and graphs? Do we need to include something like that?
I don't think so. They aren't really relevant, but we do have to turn in a list of the resources we used.
Naturally. What about videos? I heard some of the other students were doing that.
Well, I guess that must be optional, because I don't see it on the requirements list. Okay, we should start planning our class presentation, since that counts for half the grade.
We've looked at lots of sources of information, but I think our best source was the interviews we did with the wildlife rehabilitators.
Agreed. That and the journal articles. I think we have enough information from those two sources for the presentation anyhow. The books we looked at weren't all that helpful.
I wonder if we should try to bring in some live birds for the presentation.
That would be too difficult, don't you think? But we have lots of photos of rehabilitated birds. We can show those.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Right. Okay, I think we should start by talking about how to rescue a bird. Probably first we should help people understand which birds need rescuing.
Yeah, that's really important. Because a lot of times people see a baby bird that's all alone, or they find a bird sitting on the ground and they think it needs to be rescued.
And usually, those are just baby birds learning to fly. So we should emphasize that people should only attempt to rescue a bird that's clearly injured.
For certain kinds of birds, the rescuer needs to wear protective gloves because some of those birds have sharp claws and can tear your shirt, or worse, injure your face or some other part of your body.
Yes, that's an important point. OK, next, let's tell people to put the injured bird in a box with good air circulation. We should let them know that a cage isn't necessary, and a bag, especially a plastic one, could hurt the bird more.
Another thing we need to say is that the best way to help the bird stay calm is not by petting it or talking to it, but by leaving it completely alone. Then people should take the bird to the bird rescue center as soon as possible.
Right, and we should also point out that when they're driving the bird to the rescue centre, it's better not to play music on the radio or talk loudly, because those things just stress the bird.
Yes, it's better just to speak quietly while you have the bird in the car. Okay, we've got that part covered. Next we should talk about what happens at the rescue center.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Three, two, one, and...
Now turns to part 4.
Part 4. Listen to the introduction about Tower Bridge and complete the summary.
First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Tower Bridge is located in one of the most interesting parts of London. On either top of the tower, you can get a bird's-eye view of the wonderful scenery all round Tower Bridge. On its south side are many tall old buildings. On its north side stands the Tower of London itself. But Tower Bridge, the first bridge over the Thames, as you travel to London from the sea, is the most famous of them all. Although they look the same age, the tower is almost 1,000 years old, and Tower Bridge, which was built in the 1890s, is just over 100. Because of the tall ships up and down the Thames, it was proposed in 1850 that a bridge across the Thames near the tower was most necessary. However, the designers argued about the new bridge for about 30 years. They took so long because they had two big problems. One is that the new bridge must look like the old tower, and the other is that the bridge must not look like a modern bridge. They made it look like the old tower, so everyone was happy. Besides, the most surprising thing about Tower Bridge is that it opens in the middle, while big ships are going through to the Pool of London. If you're lucky enough to see the bridge with its two opening arms high in the air, you'll never forget it. The bridge took 8 years to build and cost £900,000, a lot of money in those days. But it was a wonderful success and became a famous tourist attraction in London on the day when the bridge was completed. 100 years ago, the Thames was once London's busiest traffic route, so that the bridge opened at least 12 times a day. Today, big ships don't go so far up the Thames. Tower Bridge opens perhaps only twice a week, but the same wonderful machinery is still in good condition. Green, yellow and red, the colourful wheels and engines look smart and new, not 100 years old. They still lift the two heavy opening arms, each 1,000 tons, leaving 70 metres for the ships to go through. And they still can open and close the bridge in 1.5 minutes. Things are changing greatly now at Tower Bridge. The horses that used to help with pulling have gone, and so have the tugs, for they're no longer necessary. The walkways from one tower to the other at the top of the bridge were closed years ago because so many people jumped off them into the Thames, which is said to open again soon. In addition, the beautiful wheels will be part of a special exhibition for the public to visit. There'll be a restaurant in one of the towers and a pub in the other. But whatever happens in its exciting future, Tower Bridge will always mean London.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I am Simran and today in this video I'll discuss with you writing task 2. So let's see your question for today. Around the world, more and more people today are living in urban areas. Why is this? What problems does this cause? So we have to tell that why people nowadays are living in urban areas. They are migrating from rural areas to urban areas. Why is this happening? And what problems does this cause? Let's start with our introduction. Over the past few decades, the number of people migrating to urban areas has risen dramatically. People move to cities for a variety of reasons, including lack of growth in rural areas, transit system, and job opportunities. So we are telling some of the reasons. We can't describe all the reasons in just 250 words. So we are describing just a few of them, like there is no growth in rural areas, no transit system, transportation system, facilities are not as much as these are in urban areas, and job opportunities are also very less according to the urban areas or cities.
Okay, friends, I hope now you've gone through the test, how the IELTS test would be in the listening skills. So tomorrow again, we will go through a couple of more same type of tests, practice tests, so that you will get more acquainted to the listening part, how it goes, and you will get more used to different types of accents, what the people speak, right? So I hope today's class has given you few tips about the listening skills, and you have learned something how to answer the questions in the 4 different parts of the listening skills, right? Okay, friends, thank you. Thank you so much.
Do English and Malayalam both. And big words first. So are we stopping?
Yeah.
Okay, so just a moment.
Yeah. Stop the recording.